Welcome to Flory Bottle's daily vlog. Here we are on Monday the 11th of January 2016, and I must admit I am feeling a bit better. It's breaking up in chunks and horrible things, so I'm still coughing my guts up, but at least I don't feel quite as heavy, haven't got the sweats and all the bits and pieces of obviously this terrible male version of probably a common cold. But anyway, first of all, I must apologise for obviously my outburst on Friday. I've watched myself back a few times, which I hate doing, and yeah, I was pretty over the top with it all, but I must admit, it'd been a bad week. I was feeling like crap, to be honest, and all the rest of it. I'm not making excuses, but the thing is, you know, it would help out if guys could do your research for these things first. Don't just throw questions at the team, because technically there's only sort of 3 and a bit of us in the team, and it does take up some time. I don't think people realise, but with 3,500 members, and we've got, I think it's about 2,000 in the forum as well, things like that, you know, obviously if it's just a couple of questions, not so bad, but when it's like of 20, 30, 40, 50 questions coming in on it, after a while you're like, pull your hair out, which we shouldn't do, and I must apologise, because as I say, I was pretty much out of line and all the rest of it. Needless to say, because of this, the security on the site has been put online again. I know some of you have said, but you know, with the payments thing, I thought there was a protection thing and all the bits and pieces. Technically, I'm pretty lax with it. If people fail a payment, we tend to say let it roll and carry on and all the rest of it, and that's how things like that happen. So if you do now get taken to the page that says payment error, blah blah blah, don't panic. You can still get to the rest of the site. It hasn't locked you out or anything else like that, but please do it immediately, because after a while, and I'm not sure exactly when it is, it's 5 to 7 days, when it detects that you're coming in and still not doing anything, it will just delete you, okay? And I've got no way of retrieving it once it's been deleted. That is the problem, and to be honest, that's why I don't like using the system, because all too often we have little things, people say, you know, I was on holiday, or, you know, you couldn't get near the internet and everything else. So that's why it usually rolls over about a month. So there's usually about a month's grace given. But when this thing is implied and you get that thing that says payment error, then it's ticking away. It's gone on a countdown thing, and if you don't do anything, it literally just deletes you. Once it deletes you, I can't get it back, unfortunately. So you'll lose everything. You'll lose obviously the main site, you lose your forum post, and absolutely everything. It's not like other ways when we used to do it, and just like cancel membership and things like that. People will come back and we would retrieve it and carry on. We can't actually do that when this system's running. So it's very black and white. And I know some of you have said it should be black and white, but let's face it, we all have problems. We all have hiccups. We all have financial problems. Yeah, a bit of money flow problems, everything else. So I try and keep it as relaxed as I possibly can, but obviously sometimes it does come back and sting us, and obviously I got caught out with this particular one. Anyway, on the positive note, thank you for all your kind feedback and all those kind words over the weekend. I know it's always one bad apple that sort of spoils the cart and all the rest of it, but hopefully now we can put it all behind us and just get on with the group build. But as I said, if you're ever in doubt, Google it. You know, Google is absolutely fantastic. You know, let's face it, I spend half of my life on Google. Little things like if I'm doing research, first thing I'll do, I will Google it, have a look around, and 9 times out of 10 I can find it. After that, then I start asking people who are probably a little bit more in the know. But certainly for things like animals, just type it in Google. If it comes up, it's an animal, and all the rest of it. But we know there's little grey areas and things, and it wasn't helping that I was letting people in, because I just felt, you know, okay, it's fair enough, that's close enough. A talon is a type of a small bird of prey in Colorado area, things like that. And people were saying, but it's anatomy, and you know, so we were having little things like that, but technically there's little things and it's not great, all right? The next group builds, trust me, we'll make it totally black and white, so we have no problem like this ever again, all right? But what we're trying to do is just make it as fair and open to everybody as possible, okay? And sometimes, as you say, we make a bit of a rod for our own back, because the more you make it open, the more it's open to interpretation, and I think that's where we've gone wrong with this particular group build. So the next one we do, which is obviously the Made in Japan one, should be pretty straightforward, okay? And I know Steve, I haven't answered him, but he's put up a thing in our little team area of how we can lock it down and get in specific areas, and I totally agree with him. Anyway, as you can see, I have done nothing down here at all. To be honest, at the weekend I had a little bit of family time, which was quite nice, and I just went around going all the time and generally milking it. But now we're back in. I've been doing lots of paperwork, loads of editing today. I've been actually editing the SIG and group build videos, which take quite a bit of time, getting all your names in and everything else. But I'm working on those all day, and then obviously we've got orders going out and orders coming in and all things like that. So I haven't actually had any time to get down here. And then tonight, I must admit, I'm ripping all this out I'm going to be tidying it all up and making it all nice. I know I have done the other half of the studio, which no doubt you'll probably see on the live show, but behind there's nothing. It's actually all clear and everything. Everything's nicely done. The models are all stacked. Some of my stash is now crept over to that side of the room now, so it's down behind the door. You guys who come in know, and down towards the chairs. So it's all down that way now. So yeah, taking over the world. But it did enable me over the weekend whilst I was in here to work out things I want to build. I know you guys want to see me build and everything else like that. So this year, okay, I know I put up a little bit of a teaser, but basically I've got it down now. So what we're going to be doing is starting off the year. Starting tomorrow, we're going to be working on the MiG-21, okay? We're going to be starting on the Terminator as well, all right? Then we spoke about it, obviously doing an airliner, and it is something I want to do because technically I've done airliner-ish things in the past, but I haven't done anything specifically. And a part of doing my dream, which is a 172nd Galaxy, but that's 350 quid and it's massive, and I don't know what to do with it. But I was thinking about a nice, simple airliner, but we can do nice gloss work with and perhaps detail up a little bit and things like that. So what I'm going to do is a 747-800, the Revel one, or the 787. Okay, so you've got a difference between obviously Old Faithful Jumbo, or we can go along with the Dreamliner and put it into some type of special scheme. I know some of you guys in the forum have been talking about special schemes and exactly what we can put it into. So I'm planning on something very colourful and something very nice. All right, so that's our two choices with that particular one. Straight after that, we're going to be cracking on with the Halifax. As I say, I know loads of you spoke to me over the weekend, say it's great that Halifax is coming in and all the rest of it. Yes, I've wanted to do it and all the rest of it. And I have a restoration project going along with this with a Wellington for a very good friend. All right, so I need to do those all at the same time. Then we're doing a big rig. Something completely left field, but again, this is more for me, and I would love to do an American big rig. Okay, now I know Revel will do a few, and obviously Italia area and things like that, but I've got my mind up basically what I'm going to do, and actually I've ordered it. So when that comes in, obviously there'll be a review, but I do want to do an American big rig, big scale, purely because I absolutely love those things. I think they're fantastic. Then obviously I'm going to be in with a group build, so I'm going to be doing the Osprey. Okay, so that's how I'm going to stick out my things for the moment. Okay, so I'm going to do the Hasegawa / Revel Osprey in 1/72. So again, something a little bit smaller. I have got the 48th one over there, but to be honest, it needs a lot of work to put right. And if I was to do it, I'd get totally carried away and it'd end up into a super build. All right. Then I'm going to do some type of super build though after the Osprey. All right. So what I'm going to do is throw it open to you guys because we got stuff down there each year. You know, I like to do something pretty much full on. So obviously last year we did the Typhoon, the Hawker Typhoon, 24th scale, all the rest of it. So a couple of options I'm looking at is things like I've got, to be honest, the Mosquito, Tamiya Mosquito, going to town on that one is one option. And then I've got a couple of others. I've got the Hip down there, helicopter, which I'd like to super detail because let's face it, the kit is nothing. It's like a shell. Okay, but I have got a couple of other options, even down to a Tamiya F16 in 32nd. I've got them down there. I haven't touched them in absolute years, but say it'd be something big that we can open up, we can super detail, we can do lots of scratch building too, and hopefully use some of the techniques we've been using over the last few years and really hone them. But if you've got a couple of ideas, please post them up in the forum, and then obviously, you know, down here below in the post and things like that, and then obviously I can go through them and see exactly what we want to do and everything else like that. After that, I've got some armour coming your way, and I'm looking at them now. It's going to be a bit of a choice. It's either going to be something like the T90, or we've got the Chieftain tanks. Quite like the look of those. We'll have to do one of those, or we might even go for something like the Whippet or something around those areas. Okay, so we'll be back to armour. All right. Then obviously we'll make our way through for the rest of the year. But that's how I'm planning it at the moment as we make our way through with this one. So say, if you've got any ideas, you know, decals, things like that that we might want to use aftermarket, you'd like to see used in them, chirp up down in the forum underneath here, and I'll certainly have a look at and go through the motions of getting it all together and putting through with these builds. But certainly should be fun times ahead. Obviously today I've been doing editing, and the first one out of the gate, which I was halfway through anyway, but I just like to add all your names to it, and it's all done, is the Sherman Sig. Now the Sherman Sig latter end of last year, and the level of work was absolutely fantastic in this one. It's amazing how you guys really work together, and I do have to thank obviously Steve and Bob. They were the moderators on this one, and basically kept everybody going and pushing through with all of that when you guys did an absolutely fantastic job. And really, and I have to be honest here, this is the first time I've sat down and gone through your builds as well as the actual photos from them as well, your reveal photos, because I like to have a look at the builds and go through. That's why it takes me hours to do these things. And the great thing about it was the way you guys all bonded, and that's what I would have loved about it. It really was a shining example of what a SIG and group build should be. The way you guys were supporting each other, talking amongst yourselves, coming up with ideas, sharing information and all those things. That is really what a group build and a SIG should be. It shouldn't be really you just build a model and you enter it in. You can do that, but the whole point of them is to bring everybody together and share information. So if you've got references and you've got ideas, to share it, and that's what you guys have done, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a great one. It went pretty much under the radar, which is probably my fault, and that's why we're going to be having a look at them on Fridays now. We're going to be looking at all the work in the group builds and the SIGs each Friday. It's going to be sort of, you know, Forum Friday, and we're going to go through them like that. But anyway, what I'm going to do is leave you with this amazing work. It's about 5.5 minutes. Go through it, guys, because they're absolutely some stunning builds and they're well done to everybody who took part. So there we go. That's it for today. I'm going to catch you all tomorrow, but I'm going to leave you with the Sherman SIG and your amazing work.